Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, David, how are you doing tonight?
A little better.
Yeah,
A lot. Man, do we need that? Do we need the Miko Koskinen need that? But do we need that? The fan base just need it. Like, I can't remember the last time I saw the Oilers play like look like the Oilers, like look like a team with some talent and verve and ability to play the game. And it they did everything they could to lose the game, of course, but somehow they won.
yeah.
And that was just thrilling. That was a thrilling game, and I couldn't believe it. Like that they hung on and won. I couldn't believe. I was just expecting the other shoe to drop in the third period, Bruce, and it almost did, of
As we've
course.
seen so many
Yeah,
times.
I was just expecting doom, and it didn't happen. And we'll get into why. So we'll do our two good things, two bad things, and two numbers podcast because it's an Oilers win. We'll do the two good things each. Bruce, I think I should start it off because my good
Go
thing
for it.
really is the story of the game is Miko Koskinen. And of course, not one Oilers fan ever lost faith in Koskinen in the last month or two.
Oh,
There's
no.
been remarkable support for him as he struggled, and the fans were repaid for their loyalty tonight, Bruce,
Mm.
with an absolutely remarkable. It really was a remarkable goalie performance. The Flames had 20 grade A shots on the
Hmm.
Oilers. 20 grade A shots. You should probably be scoring 5 goals. But when the quality of the Flames shots, I count so kind of unofficially, I count it within the grade A shots. I count what I call 5 alarm, 5 bell shots. And the Flames had 9 of them. I think those 5 bell shots, you're going to score about 40% of the time. And they had 9 of them. They did not score on one of those shots. Their shots were tended to be screen shots. Let me just see if any of them were. Was actually one of them a 5 alarmer? Oh, actually, one of them was. Yeah, the first goal. The first goal was on
Right.
a 5 alarm shot. So he stopped. He stopped 8 of the 9. And Bruce, in the third period, there was a
Oh,
run of four straight. There was
fabulous
that
saves.
incredible, but between the legs Kachuk shot. There was Kachuk had a pass across the crease from pass into the slot from Gaudreau that he couldn't score on. Um, Another pass across this. I can't remember who got the last one. Was it Mangiapane? No, I'm not sure who got the right near the end. There was a real like a
One that
10
hit
minute.
him in the ribs. Or there was also
No,
one where
don't worry, no worry. He went sprawling with his pad across the crease. That
the left
last one,
side. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was
Well,
unreal. It was just
there
one
was
after
two of
another.
those. So they were stunning saves. Like I thought, those are goals. And the big netminder came up with the stops with the game on the line.
It was it at times reminded me of Koskinen in 29-20, his great run, like when he had I think 917, nine
Hmm.
sixteen save percentage on the year. He earned his big contract, which is uh not pleased many Oiler fans, that contract, but that's when he earned it. And in that year he had a number of games like this where the other team started to miss the net on their chances. And we saw that
Hmm.
as the game went on, we started to see that on the Flames because he's so big. I think when he's hot and playing well, the other team starts to really try to force that puck to hit the corners, and they start missing the net. And that's how good Koskinen was tonight. So good for him. He's obviously a very decent man. Everything you see when he's interviewed, he seems very reasonable, very mild man,
Hmm.
uh, kind of calm, and it's nice to see a nice guy come up with a huge win. I don't know what the future holds for Miko Koskinen with the Edmonton Oilers, but that was a huge, huge victory. I mean, Bruce, the Oilers had slipped finally to real 500. They had 18
Yeah.
wins and 18 losses, and now they're one game above real 500. If you're a
Hmm.
real 500 team, you can make the playoffs in the NHL. This keeps the Oilers in the hunt, and a huge moment for the team when they were undermanned by 5 regular players out of the lineup. We went over it by Mike Smith, Zach Hyman, Ryan Nugent Hopkins, Zach Cassian, and Tyson Berry.
That's a
So
lot of minutes, David.
that is. What's your good thing, Bruce?
Yeah, well, I'm going to go with the game hero, one of them at the other end. That would be the man who scored the winning goal, Leon Draisaitl, who wound up the night with 2 goals and 2 assists. Um, as First of all, Edmonton's sleeping power play woke up with a pair of goals in the second period that both he and McDavid were in on. And then in the third, uh, Leon scored the tie-breaking goal with about 5 minutes left. That's usually McDavid time, where McDavid is famous for tying or winning games in about 5 minutes to play. But this time it was Leon with a great move on a pretty darn good defenseman, Chris Tanev. He kind of did the slow down and then the change of speed on him, burst right around him, and the slot. Sort of the weak side defenseman was tangled up with, we'll call it tangled up with Jesse Puljujarvi, and
It was, yeah.
he wasn't able quite to get to the front of the net, and Leon went barged right across the face of goal, held the puck Glenn Anderson style until he came all the way out the other side and had time to turn and lift it up and over a sprawled Jacob Markstrom, and that was a nice to see. He's been pretty quiet on the goal scoring front for a while, and he just a couple of minutes earlier absolutely rang the goalpost with a rocket of a shot.
Did he ever?
Holy moly! I mean, what a blast! Full slap shot, and he got all of that massive paddle on it, and rang the inside of the post, and the damn thing bounced off of the right goalpost, and it came all the way to the boards on the other side of the ice on in the air. Like it was just yeah. So I mean, it wasn't a perfect game for him. He had a bit of a sloppy line change that was, I think, I don't think it mattered on the first goal. Like he was slow getting off, but I don't think he was going to be the last forward back regardless.
Yeah.
But it didn't help. He took a penalty, but I didn't think it was a bad penalty on that led to the 2-0 Calgary goal. Like it was, he was defending a dangerous Calgary chance, and he got caught with a hold that was a hold. And so, not a perfect game, and only 10 out of 16 in the face, or 10 wins, 16 losses in the face-off dot, which is a poor night for him. But he won the absolutely critical face-off with 25 seconds to go. That allowed the Oilers to clear the zone, and eventually for Leon himself to score the clinching empty net goal with 0.001 seconds left on the clock. I think. Did you see the replay? The puck was just crossing the line when it said 0.1, and the next frame, the puck was clearly over the line, and the clock was clearly at 0.0. So he beat it by 1 frame. So that's a bonus point. So 2 goals and 2 assists, and a very welcome eruption from either of Oilers' top stars. It's been a long time since either of the boys have had a 3 or 4 point game. So
Yeah.
that's very, very nice to see, and nice to see, either one of them come through with, a big play at a big time. I mean, there are game breakers here in Edmonton, and tonight Leon came up with a game-breaking play. So kudos to him.
Yeah, I guess he took Ray Ferraro's advice. Ray was given the media training instead of sniping. Instead of when you're asked what's wrong with the team, all you got to say is,
I need to do more.
I need to do more myself. I need to make a big play.
Yeah,
And he didn't have to say it; he did it, which is even better.
that's
So
way better
he
than
also
just saying it.
on the downside, he would also screen the goalie on the third goal, third Flames goal. He was right in Koskinen's grill with the Flames attacker. But Bruce, I'm willing to forgive a lot. You can score a goal like that, the winning goal. What a tremendous goal across the net. And the Flames defender would have had him if Puljujarvi hadn't taken him out by hook or by crook or by just bumbling. I don't think it was intentional. You'd have to watch it again, but I just think they got caught up together.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I
Yep.
do believe anyway. Draisaitl was what a fabulous goal, and one of the. It's been a while, Bruce. Early in the year we had all these great plays to talk about. There was
Yeah.
shifts that would last a minute and a half. With
Wow.
30, 40 passes. There was
Mm-hmm.
McDavid doing this and that and the other thing, scoring fabulous goals and all kinds of things to get excited about. It has been a long time since Oiler fans have had much to get excited about. This game is easily the most thrilling game in probably 2 months. I'm guessing, yeah, 2 months.
Well, it's
And
first win in 5 weeks.
I guess they came from
They beat
behind
they beat
against,
Seattle. They were
yeah,
down 2-0 in the first period, and they came back to win 5-3. Sound familiar? But that time they were down a whole bunch of guys due to COVID, and they were playing short-staffed, and they even, they had they were down a skater, and they had two guys that were on emergency call up from the AHL, and they had to pull together as a team. You may recall I was particularly happy with that win just before Christmas, and then they shut down after that for a bunch of games. But when they came back, they just haven't had it. And you
yeah,
wonder how much of how much of it is the COVID thing. I mean, there's the obvious that it's messed up the schedule and the routines and so on. But you wonder how many of these guys are, just sort of uh, might have, a little brain fog or a little
just
issues.
not
They're just
their
not
full
on
grasp.
top of
Yeah,
their highly
yeah,
physical um,
yeah.
state of, and
Lingering symptoms of one sort or another. Yeah, I guess Hyman will be back next game if he's cleared. Like he should
Mhm.
be past the 5 days. So
Yeah,
if he's feeling well, he'll be back.
yeah,
Cassian won't. And then of course Barry. I think Barry RNH and Smith. That's all injury related. So
yes.
um, do we know how long Barry's out for, Bruce?
No, I haven't heard anything. And Dave Tippett's very close-mouthed on to ever talking about injuries.
Yeah.
So, but Barry, he didn't take part in the practice this morning, and we saw him crash into the boards heavily with a few minutes left in the Florida game. So, but that there's a silver lining to that, which I think is going to be your second
Yeah,
good thing.
that's correct. Before I get there, I just want to mention. So the Oilers had the Flames. It was 20-13 for grade A shots for the
Hmm.
Flames. And in terms of the five bells shots, it was 9 for the Flames, 4 for the Edmonton Oilers.
Wow.
So that just speaks again to Koskinen's brilliant play. Yeah, Tyson Barrie was out, and we saw something that I'm going to say we probably should have been seeing a little bit earlier, maybe even last year, Bruce. Maybe even last year.
Yeah.
Evan Bouchard running the Edmonton Oilers power play. And I'll note, even this game, Darnell Nurse started out as the power play quarterback. I honestly I couldn't believe that. Like it just speaks to me of a conservatism of the coaches,
Hmm.
which I'm not in favor of in the end. And I think we also see it on the penalty kill where we see all the Legion of Smurfs killing off the penalties instead of putting out big Puljujarvi with his long reach, giving him a go. Anyway, Bouchard got his chance, and did he ever make the most of it? He made a indelible impression. I think we're going to see a lot more of him on the power play, even when Tyson Barrie comes back. If you want to win games, the Oilers' power play is being shut down in part. Now, Tyson Barrie has a good point shot, but the other teams don't have to respect Tyson Barrie's shot like they have to respect Evan Bouchard's shot. I saw something out there that I don't think I've seen in years, in all the years watching Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid on the power play. Leon Draisaitl shrugged off a pass to Connor McDavid, waited, and put it to Evan Bouchard. Leon Draisaitl never does that. He always passes the puck to Connor McDavid. But tonight, he was looking for Leon. You got the cat thing going on there, Bruce.
Yeah.
And and it just spoke to when he's out there, the other teams, it's going to open up the whole bottom of the ice again for the Edmonton Oilers because you got to get out there on the point to cover him. You can't leave him open because if you do, he is going to do repeatedly to other teams what he did tonight against the Flames, which is to get very, very dangerous, lethal shots on net. I want to focus on the second one,
Right.
which was McDavid did the old Nugent Hopkins back pass to him, and Puljujarvi screened it. On that one, though, um, I take hockey lessons from the iconic skills coach of Edmonton, Jim Fleming.
Mm.
He's been around a few decades, and he's taught hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of us how to play hockey. And he was teaching shooting this year, and he made a great point. He said, "There's a difference between shooting and scoring." And what Bouchard did on that shot was he just waited. He had the patience and the skill. Just before he shot, he was about to shoot. The lane was blocked. He pulled it in a little bit to his body, changed the angle of his shot, and that's why he scored that goal. That's how he got it past the Flames defender, by pulling the puck in and having that ability to do that and get off the shot and whip it past Puljujarvi's screen and past the goalie. That's a goal scorer. That's something that is Tyson Barrie is a very, very good offensive hockey player,
Mm-hmm.
but that is not something Tyson
Yes.
Barrie does. That's something
Mm-hmm.
Evan Bouchard does. That's his greatness as a point man. And more of that, please. He is. I think he should be the Oilers' power play quarterback, even when Tyson Barrie comes back. I'm saying that. That's my vote.
Well, he had uh, two power play goals tonight in 4 minutes, basically, of game time, and much less than that of power play time. I mean, Tyson Barrie's played 106 minutes on the power play this year, and he has two power play goals. No other defenseman had even one all year until tonight, but with Barrie being out, and uh, Tippett did say Nursey's going to be on our number one power play, but Bouchard seemed to wind up there fairly early on. I noticed he started the second power play and he scored again the second time. One on a slapper and one on a wrist shot, and both just deadly accurate shots just inside the post. I mean, poor Jacob Markstrom's got to be wondering a little bit tonight, like he didn't face that many good shots, but boy, did the Oilers ever bury the chances that they had. Those two by Bouchard, a wicked shot by Brendan Perlini that put him ahead 3-2. Wicked shot by Perlini. And then, of course, the winner. But those two by Bouchard, Bush bombs. That's what. And a lot of people have been saying for a while, this guy needs to be on the number one unit, and he got his chance tonight. Now we'll see when Barrie comes back how they play it.
They'll be hell to pay Bruce in on with Oilers fans if Bouchard isn't. And this if the this coach is on he's got, like, of his 9 lives, he's up to 8. And he's
Yeah.
got to win. He's got to win here. So if he wants to win, like, you'd think, oh, I'm going to just stick with this kid here, ride the hot hand and see how that goes. But he does love his veterans. I will say that the coach loves his veterans. So,
I'll say.
I mean, how the hell else does Nurse start the game on the power play above Evan Bouchard? I mean, Darnell Nurse is a fine hockey player, but as a power player, no, he is not in the same league as Evan Bouchard. And the Oilers power play, the other teams have been packing it in, getting aggressive, doing a number of different tactics against the Oilers, but essentially taking away McDavid and Draisaitl.
Mm-hmm.
You get this guy out there, and you have suddenly a third option way high, way far away from those guys.
Yeah.
And it changes the power play dramatically again. It adds this element that they've never had to, well, they haven't had since Sheldon Surrey had that, a great shot on the power play. Play the man. I guess, the kid. Give
Yeah.
him a chance. Okay,
Old man Bouchard.
old man, play the old man. There you go. What's
maybe
your
maybe Tippett needs to learn his nickname and he'll give him a little more respect.
Graybeard? Play Graybeard.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. My second good thing is a guy that played a key role in both of those power play goals. Jesse Puljujarvi. By stat tonight, David, he played. The thing that jumps off the page is he played 21 minutes and 43 seconds, just a few ticks less than McDavid and Draisaitl, as the Oilers clear number 3 forward in this game. Nobody else was particularly. Well, Yamamoto, I guess he played 20 minutes, but so they used Puljujarvi a lot. I'm pretty sure, without checking all the way down your scoring chances, that Puljujarvi was given a major contribution to 3 Edmonton goals,
Yeah.
in which he scored exactly 0 points. And the regular scoring mechanism, this is where it fails to actually pick up contributions from player. And this is where our system actually works in identifying those players, because Puljujarvi was a key player on all 3 of those, the 2 power play goals and then the Draisaitl winner, simply by being in the damn way. he just got this big body in a good place where Markstrom couldn't see the puck through him, and the other time he barged into the slot and created the traffic that allowed create a little bit of space for Leon to make that move to the net, and those were all uh, very fine plays by. I don't think Markstrom saw either of the Bouchard shots because Puljujarvi was in his face, and he had two shots of his own, one hit, one um, one block shot, and it's like kind of a quiet game, but it was anything but. Like he was such a uh, he played such a key role away from the puck, and he had a good game with the puck. I thought he had a good, strong two-way game tonight, and was very noticeable in a good way throughout this game.
Man, he almost came up big in the first period. About 3 minutes in, Draisaitl wins a couple puck battles along the boards, puts it back to Keith. Keith gets a shot. I think it hit. I think there was a rebound. I don't know if it was off the goalie or a Flames player. Anyway, Puljujarvi pounced on it in the slot, kind of a diving stab at the puck, and I thought, oh, he's going to score, but he didn't. There was a save there, but he came so close there. That was his own best, I think, shot at net. Let's move on to bad things, Bruce. And my bad thing, I'll start it off with the Flames' first goal. Now, they have to go out into the games knowing we've got to play some sound defense here in the first period, right? So we're going to do all the fundamental things it takes to stop players from scoring goals. And one of the key fundamentals in hockey is we're not going to let their best attacking forward take the puck in his zone and charge right up the middle of the ice. Are we at our defense? We're not going to let him go through over his blue line, over the red line, over our blue line, picking up speed the entire way. Surely we will have people on him, checking him, angling him to the boards. So that can't happen. Anyway, it was I don't know how it happened. Like it was a strange play. You got two guys shifting off Foegele, first Foegele and then Draisaitl. Draisaitl is the second player to shift off, and like you say, I don't think his shift, he was really slow getting off. I don't think it actually affected the play because Lindholm was long gone by then. Yeah. But Foegele, I think, shifted off. Either he shifted off a little late, or Perlini, when he got on the ice, Brendan Perlini was just slow to realize what's going on. And I think it's probably that. Sometimes you get on the ice and you're kind of reading the play and you're a little bit sleepy or something. And what he needed to do was get right over an angle Lindholm to the boards, take away some of his speed, but that did not happen. Lindholm just plowed right by him. And now when I first saw the play, I was thinking, Keith, what are you doing, Duncan Keith? Like, you're so far in your own, there's so much gap there. You're so far in your own zone. And that's true. All that's true. But that's kind of what happens when you let a forward, really fast forward, come at the defenseman like that. They tend to back up because they don't want to get beat, which is kind of a smart thing to do. I still didn't like Duncan Keith on that play, but when I watched it again, it was clear to me that he wasn't the main culprit on that goal. It's the forward who failed to angle the forwards who failed to angle Elias Lindholm in the neutral zone as he came charging through there. So that's my bad thing, was that fundamental breakdown early in the game that led to the first Flames goal. And the first period was just rife with such mistakes. It was just one ghastly defensive miscue after another. The Oilers were able to survive. But take it from there, Bruce, because I know.
My bad thing is basically the first period where the Oilers were outshot by 19-13, so they had some shots, but it was a wide open game, and the Oilers' defensive game was not sharp. And the grade A chances by our count was 10-2 for Calgary, 10 in one period. And it was, and there was a little bit too much room out there. And man, how many times did Johnny Gaudreau come up the left wing with the puck and a ton of room around him? It seemed like 100. Couldn't have been more probably than 60, but it was.
Where's Adam Larson when you need him?
They got the puck. Here's a breakout pass. Here comes Gaudreau one-on-one against the right defenseman again, and Gaudreau and Tkachuk, they were on their games tonight. Like, Calgary's offensive game was really good. and they were
Yeah.
turning their chances into good shots on net and lots of shots on net. I mean, 47 shots, and uh, they were bringing it from early in the game, and I think they thought if they could jump on Edmonton, they could win the game outright. And at the end of the first period, with 2-0 Calgary, I mean, I don't know about you, I wasn't holding out a whole lot of optimism for.
None. I wouldn't have bet. I wouldn't. There's just no way I would have bet on the Oilers.
Mhm,
It seemed like one in 100 chance of
mhm.
coming back.
Yeah, well, the Oilers won the second period by 2 goals, and they won the third period by 2 goals, and they won the game by 2 goals. So that's what wound up happening. But at that point, even in the first period, it was 2-0 against, and I thought Miko Koskinen was Edmonton's best player in the first period. And
Yeah, well, yeah.
really, the reason that it wasn't 3 or 4-0 was he made some fine stops in that period. And you might say on the Kachuk goal that made it 1-0 that the rebound wasn't great, but like you say, there wasn't a lot of support on that one either.
Oh, that was a
So,
pretty tough shot by Lindholm. Crosses
mhm.
kind of going the opposite direction, and yeah, Cece.
Kind of
Come on,
like Barkov's shot.
Cody Cece's got to have Kachuk on that play.
Yeah, yeah.
Is the other thing, right? Like,
Mhm. It was kind of like the
and
Barkov one that went in the other night that you didn't
yeah,
like. It was a long way out, but I mean, Koskinen did make the save, but he couldn't control the rebound. But he made a lot of other saves in the first where it just seemed like the team in front of him was at sixes and sevens, and he held them in, and he this was not a defensive gem by Edmonton, but the goaltender made a lot of problems go away.
what does that mean?
What
They
do
were
you
at
know? That's how it's
sixes.
supposed to work, right?
They were at sixes and sevens. What does that mean?
It just means they're not
English.
on the same page. English soccer commentators say it a fair bit.
It's an English idiom used to describe a condition of confusion or disarray. It is not known for certain, but the most likely origin of the phrase is a complicated dice game called hazard, a more complicated version of the modern game of craps.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if it was cards, like if you get a hand with sixes and sevens, you're kind of
Mhm.
screwed. Unless you got two sixes and two sevens, then that might work out. But anyway,
I got it from watching soccer.
oh yeah,
The announcers say it every so when a team is sort of all over the place defensively, and they'll say that Liverpool were really sixes and sevens and that sequence, and so it's a good saying.
no one knows where it comes from is the truth. Okay, we're done our bad things.
Mm.
We're ready for our numbers. Okay, my number, Bruce, is so in our scoring chance data, I describe each scoring chance. I do that to just in case I ever want to go through one player over time and see if there's a trend. Helps me it creates a little bit more of a picture of what he did wrong. We already coded to say what he did wrong, like whether it's a turnover or a lost battle or he
Right.
let a pass or whatever. But I also on the attack I count for Leon Draisaitl the what I call the executioner shot. And
Mm.
that's a shot that he typically gets on the power play, a one-timer shot where he does the full windup and absolutely lashes it at the net. And we saw that tonight. He got one. And it made me think, when was the last time I saw that play? So I went back over our document and I searched it. The last time Leon Draisaitl got an executioner shot on net was game 25 of the season.
Whoa.
And at that point, Bruce, he had 11.
Hmm.
So he had 11 in the first 25 games. He's had one in the 12 games since then. And I think that really speaks to the other teams, the opposition, taking that play away from the Edmonton Oilers on the power play. They're going to give you anything else.
Hmm.
They're not going to give you that. And even this one was a little bit, it wasn't like, it wasn't it was anytime he gets off that shot, it's a grade A shot because of the way he shoots. But it was a little bit from an angle, and it wasn't from the top, the best angle, but he still did get it off. And I think Bouchard being out there on the power play is going to open up because Bouchard can make that pass for one thing,
Self, yeah.
set it up, but they're going to
He's
have to
also a
respect.
decoy.
They're going to have to move out to cover Bouchard, and that's going to open up that seam for Connor McDavid a little bit more, or Ryan Nugent Hopkins when he gets back. So we might see a few more executioner shots in the next 20, 30, 40 games here, if they keep Bouchard out there. And we haven't seen it lately. And I do think it's very indicative of what the other teams are doing to the Edmonton Oilers. They're taking that away. They're not going to get beat by that. They'll be beat by something else, but not by that.
Yeah,
What's your
well,
number?
welcome back, Executioner's Shot. We really missed you.
We did. We did. We did. He gets the honorary Black Hood tonight, Leon Draisaitl. All right. What is your what's
I'm going to go with 2-0, which was the score in the third period. This is the first time the Oilers scored two goals in the third period since, well, that last win in Seattle 5 weeks ago. It's the first time they've held the other team off the score sheet in the third period in the last 7 games. The first game of the 7-game losing streak, they were trailing St. Louis 4-2 after the second, and it ended 4-2. So technically that was a zero, but they couldn't get any closer. But during this, uh, during the 7-game, or especially recently, the last 5 games since January 1st, in the third periods, the Oilers were outscored 1 goal for, 14 against. So that's my real number, and that's the one that they had to turn around big time. 14-1 in 100 minutes of hockey, and including 9-1 in the 2 home games on this homestand. They gave up 9 goals in the third periods. 9 goals in 40 minutes. So to put a big zero on the board, and I mean, that's with 17 shots by Calgary, including 4 or 5 of your 5-alarm fires. So again, it wasn't a gem, but what they hadn't been getting was either the great defensive performance or the great goaltending. At least tonight they got one of those things, and Koskinen was the answer. So turning around that dismal, brutal third period record that they've had of late was absolutely, it had to be done ASAP, and for tonight at least, they accomplished that. So
every dog will have his day and every cat will mew. Hopefully, hopefully this is just not a one-off. Uh, we'll see, Bruce. We'll see.
I sure liked the celebration at the end of the game, and I loved how the team mobbed Koskinen. I thought that was really good. That showed me some good things about Koskinen himself and his relationship with the team. They knew how huge that was for him.
it sounds like there's going to be some changes coming. There's a strong rumor they're going to sign Evander Kane, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a change. They're going to have
Oh,
a big, strong power forward, with off ice baggage, which we don't have to get into right now. We've talked about it in the past, but um, that's a
he'll be a
change.
lightning
Obviously,
rod.
he'll be a lightning rod. He sure will. And you know, I don't know if Al May was talking on Oilers Now, and he talked.
Heard that.
I thought he actually made. I hadn't really thought about the physical stuff a whole heck of a lot. I'd been starting to think about it a little bit more. I know that some people are very annoyed that the narrative of the Oilers' lack of physical play is now coming up. But someone pointed out today that the Oilers lost off their team last year Jujhar Khaira, Josh
Mm,
Archibald, and
yep,
Adam Larson.
yep.
Now Jujhar Khaira, he played some really good hockey before he got injured last year. He
Mm-hmm,
was in a very effective fourth line center,
yep,
physical big fourth line center before he got hurt. Josh Archibald, I thought was a strong checking winger who threw hellacious hits. And of
yep.
course, Adam Larson is a nasty shutdown defensive defenseman par excellence and a very physical player. They do miss that, Bruce. They miss Adam Larson. They miss Adam Larson big time. What he brought to that team, that nasty element. And against the Flames tonight, it would have been wonderful to see Adam Larson go up against Johnny Gaudreau and all these other players. He would have shut him down. This is a factor with the Oilers. I mean, Fogle and Hyman are two big, tough, honest, grinding hockey players. I like both of them fine. Um, but they don't have the hitter, that they don't
Right.
have that guy who's nasty and and hitting. So maybe Kane will provide a bit of that. I honestly don't know Kane's game that well. I've
Hmm.
watched him over the years, but I haven't really, I focus on the Oilers is the truth. I'm an
Right.
Oilers-centric viewer of the game, and I watch the opposing players in relation to what they do against the Oilers, but not really like focused on them. So I'm not sure what kind of physical player he is. Like, is he like, does he consistently hit? Is he really aggressive on the puck protect like Hyman is? So I don't know, but if the Oilers do sign him, that will be a big, that could be an element that he could really add to the team. And if he does that, that will should help the Edmonton Oilers quite a bit. They need to, I think, get another player though on their one of their bottom lines. I mean, Perlini's he's scoring now, so he's kind of earning his keep. But I think they need to get a just one more, Jujar Kara kind of center. When Jujar wasn't hurt, I guess he's hurt in Chicago again. I understand. Is that not the case, or has he been
He
playing again?
had been. I think he's back.
That's good.
Unless he had something else happen.
No, that was a
Last
while ago.
last year, Jujar Kara was second in the NHL among regular players for hits per 60. So for the amount of ice time he got, he was a hellacious hitter. Only Ryan Reeves was ahead of Jujar Kara for like he was just under 20 per 60 minutes. So one hit every 3 minutes. That's a lot. Mind you, it's easier to do that as a 10-minute a night player than a 20-minute a night player because all
Yeah,
that contact adds up. But still, he was doing his job and he was consistently doing it. And they miss that, and they miss the stealth bomber uh, Josh Archibald.
yeah,
You know, uh, he was sort of a guided missile out there on the ice, and as you say, Larson. And I thought before this game, I said privately to a couple people, if I'm Dwayne Sutter tonight, I tell my team to try and run the Oilers out of the rink because they've got, you know, Rasmus Anderson, Nikita Zadorov, Eric Goodbranson on the back end. They got Milan Lucic up front. They got that sneaky, dirty Matthew Tkachuk. They got Brett Ritchie. They got a lot of bangers, and the Oilers were missing Cassian, and they lost sort of their sort of central component of physical players. And I mean, they essentially replaced Jujar Kara with Ryan McLeod. Well, that's improvement in some areas, but certainly not an improvement on the physicality side of things. But shockingly, tonight the Oilers actually out-hit the Flames 35-30, with little Kyler Yamamoto leading the way with 6, Tyler Benson with 5, including a couple of real doozies. But even their little guys were at least bringing it and throwing their weight around and not backing off. And so to me the Oilers answered that bell.
yeah. He's figuring out a way to contribute by, well, that turnover in the third period was pretty bad, but
Oh,
he
that
did
was
he did that was bad. He did throw some good hits. Yamamoto's a physical player. Pound for pound, he's one of the toughest guys in the NHL. Like, he really is. He's a tough. He's not that big, but man, he works and he hits and he battles for the puck. I like Tyler Yamamoto. I know, like, he's not everyone's a big fan of him, but I do like him, and I
Hmm?
a lot. So, but anyway, we'll see what happens, Bruce. Like, we're waiting for something. There was, after that last big loss, we thought maybe Tippett might get fired or make a trade for a goalie. I mean, we'll see. They somehow they weathered this, by some really good luck and a super hot night for Miko Koskinen. This is, you can't count on that though every night. You can't count if you're giving up 20 grade A shots.
Oh,
You can expect to lose,
mhm.
and
Yeah.
that should have been the expectation tonight. So this is a relief to all of us, but this isn't the answer, and they got to find some answers, and still they got to find some answers still. And I'm out of options. I mean, I like the idea of Puljujarvi on the PK. I think little things like that make a difference. I like the idea of Bouchard on the top power play. So things like that can, incrementally improve your team. I don't know if they need just a bigger structural change. after the first period, you could just have sworn there's something just wrong with this team. They can't play defense anymore.
Yeah.
They don't know how to defend. So I think these are still open questions. Nothing's settled tonight, is what I'm trying to say. Nothing.
Right.
This was exciting, and this was a big win. This was thrilling. This was needed, and all of those things. But the Oilers still have something's not right with this team. They're giving up too many high quality chances, I think, and they certainly did tonight.
Yeah, well, that was a big win for more than Miko Koskinen. That may have saved Dave Tippett's short-term situation. If they'd have come away from this homestand with 0 points, after a 0-win road trip, it looked like they were going to go 0 for 3 on the homestand after the first period, and that might have been. I mean, we thought that after the road trip as well, but Tippett had to pull out of this tailspin. He personally was behind the bench for 12 straight losses coming into tonight, so he'll at least get some sleep tonight, I would think, after what's been going down. But and I know there were some fans out there probably secretly hoping for one more loss or however many it took to have a change there. But let's face it, if they want to stay in the playoff hunt at all, the Oilers had to start garnering points and gaining points on their playoff rivals, and they gained 2 on Calgary tonight.
Let's leave it there. You got to do some writing, so I'll let you get at it. Bruce, thanks for talking tonight.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.